What's the French term for a dad who drives a Subaru and tells bad jokes? A Loyale with cheese.
No time to ask the dealer how I can buy this car right now. Subaru Loyale.
Hey, all you bug-eyed and hawk-eyed drivers.
Yeah.
Put down your vape pens.
And you're indoors, so take off that hat before I put a bend in it. And I take that flat-brimmed hat and put a bend in it like God intended.
Listen, the only reason your snow machines with their exhaust and the only reason Subaru of North America exists at all is because of the Loyale. You owe your entire subculture to this car. This pokey little station wagon was Subaru's foot in the door for Yanks.
Eyes, right here.
Forget the Brat. The Brat was fun. Too fun. It wasn't a car for settling into marriage and driving around a wife that I guess I'll learn to love. Because the Loyale succeeded where the Brat didn't. Originally called the Leone and built in 1971 for world markets, this car came out of Subaru's poop chute looking like a Datsun B210 in the day. You know, complete with side mirrors mounted way down on the corner panels. Hell, they're almost on the roof. But by 1984, the Leone became the Loyale in North America because we had our fill with queer Italian names. See, Loyale sounds like loyal, and loyal means steadfast devotion. And good behavior was a positive emotion that Subaru wanted customers to think of when they were looking at this wagon. A car called a Loyale is for showing up early for Sunday school and helping the pastor lay out illustrated children's Bibles and one illustrated family Bible because the church doesn't have enough. On the other hand, a Subaru Brat is for the parents of that one kid who got laid in 6th grade. Dude, he just found out how to give himself a handy and already he's shoving it into hot box. Dude, even kids from other school districts heard about that guy. In the United States, we got a 1.8 liter single overhead cam EA82 flat 4 with throttle body fuel injection.
Pump full of barn love.
This was an engine more pitiful than a boomer yelling at a Wendy's drive-thru. It made around 80 horsepower. Ram air intake! The box said 10 horsepower. Yes, you could get a turbo on some of these motors, but few people got them because a Loyale is a dad's car. The early 90s ex-hippie dad who still gets high about once a month, but when he does it by announcing this at family dinner in a very stealth way. He says,
"Well, I'm gonna go out to the shed and work on the lawnmower."
And then Steely Dan starts playing. It's just reeling in the years over and over and over again. These days, people want to turn the Loyale into a battle wagon. And the way you do that is you put spacers under the shocks and springs. Because that's healthy for the CVs. And then when you drive, one thing about the Loyale, no rev limiter. None. You can rev this until the engine explodes. First and second gear are your go gears, and by fifth gear at 57 miles an hour, you're pulling about 3,000 RPM. And this was back when Subarus did go off-road. The Loyale turned Subaru from that weird car company to, that's a good car. And this is what made people appreciate Subaru. In most of Pennsylvania, you can still see Loyales rolling around as mail trucks. Oh, they work in all weather. It wasn't until the Subaru RS that Subaru became weird again in North America. I mean, we knew of other weird stuff in the 90s about Subaru because of Gran Turismo and all that, but for most of the 90s, this was Subaru. The Subaru Loyale is a car, and that's the most generous thing you can really say about it. It's the four-wheel equivalent of a dad who doesn't just drop his daughter off at the concert, he stays with her throughout the entire show. On the off chance she gets invited backstage to play
Hide the Master Sword with Johnny Frosted Tips.
Of course, a car shouldn't be put down just because it isn't fun to drive. Plenty of cars are reliable without having to be fun, but once you're inside, it's like, who is this even for? I know we've been over this, but who is a target audience for this? Well, the target audience was everybody. It breaks down like this. If the Subaru Loyale was a movie, it would be the Superman Returns of cars. It's a conservative product that takes no risks. It's good, but completely unremarkable in just about every way. I know the spare tire is under the hood and that's sort of a brat thing. Oh, and there's one other thing. It had selectable four-wheel drive. This predates the whole, it has full-time all-wheel drive Subaru. This was before that. It had selectable stuff. This isn't something you get today. Big button right on top of the manual gear shifter, four-wheel drive. You press that and you get four-wheel drive anytime you want. Normally, you're just putzing around, it's front-wheel drive. You hit that button, bam! And that's the Subaru weirdness right in there. And they didn't even put it on the dash. They put it on the gear shifter, a thumb button, a missile button. Do you remember Afterburner, that arcade game? Your missile button was on top of the joystick. Anytime you want it. You want this thing on the highway going 90 miles up. You want four-wheel drive in the middle of a drift. Anytime you want, and you needed that four-wheel drive to get everything out of the 90 horsepower engine. If you had the turbo option, you got 115 horsepower. An interesting thing, 1 year later, the Loyale Coupe was completely killed off in order to focus on the sedan and wagon versions of the Loyale. And by 1994, we were down to the wagon alone. And even that version wasn't long for this world, with the Legacy and the Impreza stepping up on the plate for Subaru. The Loyale was okay in its heyday because the modest demographic it was aiming for wasn't looking for anything more complicated than a car with good gas mileage that could survive Pennsylvania winters. The Loyale is what happens when people settle. Hell, this is an automotive equivalent of the entire company just settling. But you need to settle. If it wasn't for the Loyale building up a base of customers who consistently buy Subarus, you all know these families who are like, I'll never buy anything for a Subaru. They had the Subaru Wagon in the 90s and have bought nothing but these cars since. So you don't get your crazy WRXs and you don't get your STIs without this big, steady base of customers who are just buying your oatmeal cars.
Do you hear me, Chrysler? This is how you keep a car company going.
Boring cars have to exist. It's good to be making reviews again.
I'm feeling fairly bold. This car is very old. A Subaru Loyale. A dad joke on four wheels. Deliverance of feels. A daughter all grown up. Let's drive this car that we have.